Welcome back to Voice of Students.
Powered by Onada. So as of lately in the media, there have been a lot of controversial celebrity relationships that have had a lot to do with cheating. So there's been JayZ and Beyonce, there's been Cardi B and Offset, there's been, as of very recently, again, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. So how do you guys feel that that sort of social surveillance, we see it every day in the media, we see it on our Instagram feeds, Snapchat stories, everything. How do you think that that affects how you guys continue your relationships in this social media age?
For me, it's a guide, like a reference on what to do and what not to do. And basically what I learned from this Kardashian, Tristan Thompson situation is don't cheat. Don't cheat. And if you want to cheat, maybe that person's not right for you. And you break up, you take a break. But that's what I learned, because millions of people talking about it. Me personally, if I was Tristan Thompson, I'd be so uncomfortable. I'd be so embarrassed. I go everywhere and everybody's looking at me talking about it. That would just give me anxiety just thinking about it. So I can only imagine.
I think it changed the game though, in a way that it becomes this sitcom that you get to watch and observe from, and the good and bad thing from just being regular people having that is that you become you start to think that becomes your real life reality life, right? Yeah,
idea of cheating and everything.
Exactly, right? It kind of glorifies it. If I need to because it's so much more entertaining as a follower, right? If you're going through something right now and you start posting drama with your significant others, right? I'm much more inclined to follow spill the tea, right? I want to know what's going on rather than just follow your everyday monotone, boring, right? So I think that's what, and it also because you mentioned a couple of examples JayZ and Beyonce and then Offset and Cardi, where I think it normalizes certain types of behavior, right? Because then it becomes because all the people that we're talking about, they got caught red-handed cheating, right? People knew about it, and yet their significant others took them back, right? So what does that really say about our standards as a society, right? It kind of normalizes cheating a little bit, kind of all these celebrities are doing it, and their significant others are taking them back. So then especially when these the significant others in the relationship are applauded for making it work, right? So many people now applaud Beyonce and JayZ for not giving up on their relationship and making it work through theirs. So now you see regular people more inclined to give their significant others second chances.
And agree with it.
Exactly, because it's oh, I want to be that, right? I want to be applauded for making our relationship work rather than, right? And the whole Kim Kardashian, not Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson, you see how people use that as a way to it just heightens everyone's brand, right?
Right.
And even for us who have regular, we don't have real brands, right? But just our own personal brand, right? It makes us more interesting to see that going on.
Right. And Danny, how do you feel as a woman to see Khloe Kardashian's side of things and how she's handling it and how, maybe you or someone a girlfriend would deal with something like this?
I think, we were saying before, kind of the prevalence of cheating in social media and with celebrities, it kind of brings back in the morals that maybe are not so good in our society, but that are coming out a little bit more.
For the woman on this panel, right? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that having your relationship being publicized, and let's say you caught your significant other cheating, right? And now people on social media know about it. Does that pressure you one way or the other? Does it pressure you to forgive them? Does it pressure you more to be no, I'm not dealing with this? How does that affect?
I feel just the fact that there is so much surveillance, and that is the main point of all of this. Like you guys were saying, you can constantly watch someone's every move. And so a lot of the time when cheating scandals do come up, there's always proof. A lot of the times when you hear it, it's not exactly a rumor, it's, oh, this video came out, or this photo came out, this person, screenshots.
That's how they get them now.
Exactly, and group chats, and this person knows that person, and especially with the Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson thing happening right now, there are influencers everywhere on social media that are speaking out and saying, listen, this industry is not so big. It's not as big as you think, and people know people, and even people that are not in this industry and even people that are not famous are around, and they see what you're doing. They see that this person is neighbors with that person, and that one knows what that, you know, it just happens
It's a small
that
world,
way.
especially in a university
Right.
in New Brunswick setting. Like, for instance, I just left the chiropractor's yesterday. I went to Shanghai Dumpling in Edison. You know, I was feeling good. I wanted to get something to eat. But then, you know, I see my boy's girlfriend over there, and she's with some other dude. Looked like some guy on the football team. So I went and snapped it. I'm like, yo, is this your girl? And then, like, I was just, like, listening to their convo, kind of, because, like, you know, I happened to be seated right next to them.
Right.
But, like, this guy, like, he doesn't bring his girl around, you know, he's kind of low-key with it, so like she doesn't know who I am. She doesn't really know who any of the fraternity brothers. So I was just snapping and like telling him what was happening the whole time. It was wild.
And
What
it's crazy
happened?
that we
What
have
happened?
that.
Curious.
I don't know yet. I'm still waiting on that information.
So this was recent.
Yeah, this was yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
But that also like brings up like a really good point of like, what do you think there's a responsibility of like, let's say like you guys had some guy like slide into your DMs, right? And you can immediately see his Instagram that he has a girlfriend. Do you share it?
Oh, that is a big thing. I think actually it depends on how he came at me or went about things. If it was really direct and just not respectful and everything, I'd be like, hey, screenshot it, say like, to his girlfriend, you know, this is a really tough position, but as a female, I feel like I would want to know, just so you know that your boyfriend is talking to random girls like this. I don't know him. I'm a random girl. So do what you want to do with this information, but here you go.
What if you really liked the guy? You know, you knew each other for years, and you know, you really wanted the thing to happen.
If I
but it
liked the
just-
guy who had the girlfriend?
Yeah, and you didn't like the girlfriend. You hated the girlfriend.
Oh, then I wouldn't. I wouldn't necessarily
Share the
send it to her
information.
then, but I don't feel okay morally with messing with relationships that are already there. It's just not my business. I don't whatever. If they broke up, then that would bring things into light, and I'd be like, okay, this could open up again. But just when a guy has a girl, not my business, not my territory. I don't want to get involved with that. I don't need some girl like coming at me.
Right.
Oh, that's a
safer.
whole lot of
And-
other
and that's
drama.
no, exactly.
Uncomfortable,
and that's why,
anxiety, that's what it brings, right?
And that's why you need to put certain people in their place and, you know, tell them, because then that's something that you will have to deal with even indirectly. Like you didn't initiate him to reach out, but because he did, you're going to have a very angry girl in your DMs and you didn't do anything. So it's crazy how that's the way social media works.
Have you ever had an angry girl in your DMs?
I have not, but I have had people with girlfriends, you know, try to approach me, slide into the DMs. If they're not being disrespectful, but I see it happening, I ignore it. I delete it.
You don't even
don't
entertain
even
it.
address it.
You don't even entertain
If
it.
somebody is being disrespectful, or I look at it in the perspective of your girlfriend would not be happy about this. Like, for example, somebody had replied to one of my stories. I posted a screenshot of a song. It wasn't of me. It was literally just a song. He had responded to it and was like, oh, I love this song, and then said some not so great things about how he wanted to spend some time with me. So I clicked on his profile. I saw in his bio that a girl's name was there. There's multiple pictures of each other. So I messaged him back and I said, does your fiance like this song? Because there was a post from a week before saying that they were engaged. So I said, I don't really think that we should be talking, and that was that. He was like, all right, she's not messing around. She's not one of those that's gonna entertain the fact, but it's crazy because
Did you know the girl?
didn't know anybody, didn't know the boy, didn't know the girl, but you know what? He probably went right to another girl and, you know, started doing the same thing. So even though there are people that will put you in your place, it's a big world and it's a big social network, and there will be people that will entertain it.
I've always thought about that, like where, like in the guy's perspective, like how does he expect to like get away with it, right? Because like you always think about like the worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario is that like you could have easily just shared that DM on your story,
Right.
right? And just like you know what I mean? Like
Don't
that,
think.
like that's what I'm saying. Like the risk of that involved, right? Because like he doesn't know you, right? So
Right.
he has no like rapport, right? You could have easily just, and a lot of girls do that. They screenshot it and then put it on their story as like, oh, like look at this guy in my DMs, right? and like a lot of the guys like won't like blur out the name or anything, so like everyone will know that you're
Right.
like doing that, right? It's not even like low key at that point.
I'm a part of some like girl groups on Facebook, not like girl groups, but with different scenes and different cultures, but basically groups of girls. And I've seen so many times like screenshotting from like communities that I'm in, like, hey, this guy, he's been doing this to these certain girls. He has a child. He's not paying like child support. I've heard the craziest stories about some people that I've never heard, and they're all these girls banding together and saying, stay away from this kid in this scene because he hasn't been good to other girls in the scene. So the screenshotting is really...
A girl actually did that. Like, I don't know. It's funny because it relates to internet dating. Like this, one of my friends met this girl through Tinder. You know, they did their business or whatever, but it was a quick fling. It wasn't long term, or at least he didn't want it to be long term. And then, like a week later, a girl like DMs him, sends him up a screenshot of a post this girl made on one of those community websites or handles or whatever, and it says, "Don't text this guy or don't answer this guy if he slides in your DMs. He's the devil."
And that happens.
Yeah.
Like you said about Tinder app, right? So are there another apps that are available, and what has been your experience or your friends' experiences on the apps?
I don't know. I'm just like not a huge like I've never used like Tinder or like Bumble for like dating purposes per se, right? Like I don't look at it like as a serious thing, and I think that's how like most people look at it.
Most
so, like,
guys at least.
I think that's how most guys
Right.
look at it, right? So I think when girls are on it for like actual relationships, it's like a very like, because I know like a lot of girls like will say like in their like bio like, oh, like if you're here for just like a hookup, like I'm not here for it, so just swipe left, right? But I think like most guys aren't there. Like I don't think a lot of guys are sitting on there like I'm gonna meet like my future like girlfriend dash wife like on the.
I don't think
on
guys
Tinder.
want to meet their future ex-wife on Tinder.
Yeah, like I just think it just because like I've seen so many of my guy friends like they just come back from like being out and then they just use Tinder as like a like boredom, like it's like a game, right? Like it's just like
Or
Right.
if you have some emotions after a few cocktails and you're looking for someone, you know, to keep you warm that night, you'll just be swiping.
Yeah,
Everyone just
It's
swiping.
almost like shopping for girls. Now that I'm thinking about that.
It's like mindless swiping now in
Yeah.
this culture. It's people don't even think about it anymore, which is crazy.
So I think the hopes of that guy is that he happens to DM the one girl who is like
Willing.
cool.
Down,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Fair.
you didn't entertain it, right? But he like the same day he probably DM'd like 5-10 other girls, right?
And someone might have.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not all girls are like you, where like you wouldn't entertain it.
Right.
You have some respect, you know,
Right,
because
right.
you hope someone respects you back. But there's some girls that are only out here for themselves.
Yes.
They're hungry. They want your guy.
Some people's morals are
Are
very
so
different.
different.
Yeah.
Like, there's this like one guy that like I know, right? And this is like the wildest story I've ever heard. He literally has just like he has like I don't know what to call it, like a script, I guess, right? He has a script for like a DM slide, right? And he just on like that's what he does every day. And I asked him like I just like bumped into him at a party and I was like yo, when you do this, because like a lot of girls have like criticized him and stuff and like shared it within their group chats because it's come back to like my friend group. Because like I have a friend group, like a group chat with like all my high school friends, and some of them don't even go to Rutgers, and he does. And like they're like, oh, like guys, do you know this kid? Like he just slid in, right? And like they go to like TCNJ, NYU, and it's like the same exact script. So I asked him once, I was like, yo, are you like successful? Like it's like the same message, right? And like people
Yeah.
have called you out. He's like, listen, think about it. I send out like probably, he told me, he's like, I send out 50 a day.
It's like a
50 a
business.
day.
He's like, I send out 50 a day. So even if
like
only
business.
2 girls
Wow.
reply, 2 girls still replied. And I was like, do 2 girls reply? He's like, usually
Yeah.
2 girls reply.
All right, that brings us to the end of our Voice of Students debut. Thank you so much to our guests for joining us today.
Tune in next week to hear directly from students about tuition loans, working, and all the financial aspects of being a university student. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Voice of Students, powered by Onata, local part-time jobs.